Okay, on the right here is my submission for the Eternal Ascent 3D Community Challenge. I'm going to give you guys like a full breakdown and step-by-step of everything I did to actually make this. Fun fact, I actually did not submit it because I was like a week late. But anyway, let's get right into the video then. So first, before I get into actually how I did, I'm going to show you guys my references. So let's get right into it. Right off the bat, I actually started wasting a ton of my time working with this VDB material. And basically the issue I was having was that these VDBs and the Ultimate Sky, that Unreal Engine plugin that everyone uses, it wasn't working together. So basically, I ended up scrapping the plugin, and then suddenly my VDB started being kind of normal. But what you see on the screen right now is actually me just kind of lighting the scene. I think I'm using the Ultra Dynamic Sky plugin right now, and I'm just kind of experimenting with the lighting here. I think this is valuable, to be honest. I didn't cut this out because I wanted to show like the exploration of the different types of lighting that I was doing. Honestly, sped up, it just looks like it's flashing. But you know what? I promise I did it. So anyway, included with the lighting that I'm experimenting with, I also experimented with some of the fog, the volumetrics. Honestly, sometimes when I'm using Unreal Engine or literally any other program, I don't even know what these settings are doing. I'm just turning them on and off to see if something happens. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So here, see all those little black clouds in kind of the bottom left? That right there, huge waste of time. Very large waste of time. You know what? Sometimes when you're working on something, you have to go down the wrong road for days. And in that case, that's exactly what I did. So here I was trying to kind of experiment. I was trying to experiment and get this cloud working with the lighting that is going onto these stairs. As you can see, not looking good. I'm changing like every setting I can, and I'm editing the lighting. I'm trying to do everything I can here, but soon you're going to see the breakthrough when I start using that ultimate, or what's it called, Ultra Dynamic Sky plugin. I'll link that in the description. I might not. Sometimes I forget to do these things, but as you can see here, I'm starting to kind of play around with the settings of the material, and I'm actually getting close to my reference images because I know that the kind of thickness of the clouds was actually kind of like a darker blue color, when on the edges where the lighting was hitting was kind of like, oh, see right there, see it? You can kind of see that is close to my reference right there. The edges of the lighting at its like lightest was kind of like a yellow, but then that piece, like that lighting in between the yellow and the blue, is that pink. And once I got that, I was like, oh my god, thank god. I spent so much time wasting stuff. See, I deleted those black clouds in 2 seconds as soon as I got those. And then I can finally start copying and pasting a bunch of these different clouds and setting up the scene. Keep in mind, this is after hours of just like time wasting, like time wasting hard. I mean, I guess I was learning, but in terms of getting this done before the submission, I didn't. I completely missed it by like a week plus. Maybe like 9 days past the submission date. So as you can see, I was setting up all the different materials. I had, I think 11 different VDBs that I got from, what was it, JagX FX or something like that. I'll link that. No, I'm not going to link that, honestly. I'm going to be honest with you. But so basically I set up a separate material for every single VDB type. And then what I did after that was just kind of link, I had 11 VDBs, and then I assigned each VDB their own material. So I had a bunch of different clouds, because if I used the same one, the cloud range that I wanted in the background for my scene would look super repetitive. So if I got all these different VDBs, put them together to make a big clump, that would be a lot less repetitive. So that's kind of what my thought process there was. I think at the beginning it ended up looking repetitive, but I kind of fixed it a little bit near the end. Another thing I wanted to do is get my character to kind of walk through the clouds. I think that was kind of a cool decision because it adds kind of, I don't know, it kind of brings the background into the foreground a little bit, and it makes it feel like this staircase and this character is actually in the sky because, I don't know, there's not really a reason for the clouds not to touch the stairs in real life, I think, but I don't know, I think that made it a little bit more, I don't know, it gave that spice. So let's see, what am I doing here? Yeah, so you can see now I'm trying to position the clouds. I'm basically just moving the 11 clouds that I had off the screen a little bit onto the screen, and I'm trying to fill up the place. And it might not be an actual, you know, something like a bundle, like a horizon of clouds with no spaces in between, but honestly, that's kind of like the magic of doing this, the magic of like it only, what am I saying? The magic is that like only what the camera sees matters. So some of these clouds have giant spaces in between them, but it doesn't really matter because you can't tell from the camera angle, and it doesn't really need to be fixed. See, you can kind of tell, I kind of zoomed out for a second there and it looked completely wrong and unrealistic, but it doesn't matter. So here you can kind of see I'm trying to get the lighting right. Specifically, I had a ton of trouble with kind of the horizon because I think I had a lot of different things going on. I had like a sky spear, I had exponential height fog, I had, what else did I have? Directional lights. I honestly can't remember. I had all this stuff. So it was kind of hard to balance everything. But look at this, we're back in Blender, baby. Let's go. So I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm not the best modeler, and I didn't want to mess around and keep fidgeting with the stairs. So my goal was to make a staircase that is exactly the same as, kind of like, I wanted the texture to be different, but I wanted the overall staircase design to be the exact same that was in the template, which is kind of like a cheap way of doing things. But honestly, like when you're not a super hardcore pro at modeling, sometimes you got to take these like shortcuts just to get, you know, 80% of the way there. It's like 20% of the knowledge gets you 80%. I don't know the saying, but anyway. So what's going on now? So as you can see, I was modeling. I basically made a circle, cut it up into a bunch of pieces, and then used a modifier, what's it called? An array modifier to kind of copy and replicate, or copy and duplicate the staircase going around a null object that's placed directly in the middle of the staircase. So that's a rambly explanation for you, but you can kind of see what I was doing here. And then to texture this thing, I wanted to separate basically I wanted the top, like the actual step that you would step on, to be gold plated, and then everything else be kind of like a white, I don't even know how to describe the material. I just got it from one of my references, but it would be white. So I wanted to separate those two pieces, and now I have two arrays going up. Then I applied the modifiers, and then I exported, messed it up a bunch, re-exported. Now we're in Substance Painter, baby. Now, so thank God for Substance Painter, because I'm not great at that either. But they do have pre-made materials, so I actually brought the gold material that they have, and I tried a couple different things to experiment, like what looked the best, but overall they're gold. I think it's pure gold material that's already in there, worked pretty well. And then I just added a roughness map and kind of edited the tiling a little bit, so it looked like, I didn't want it to look dirty, but I wanted it to look kind of realistic. So why would there be dust on like a staircase a million miles above the clouds? I don't know, but there is in this world. So I got the gold working there, and then I actually applied a very similar texture to the stairs, and I just took the gold coloring off. So it's basically the same texture, to be honest, except one's white and one is gold / I don't know, yellow. So I brought these guys in, and then I realized the normals, terrible. They're completely opposite. So little note for yourself and myself in the future, Always fix the normals before you export something, because now I'm going to have to redo everything here. But once I brought this in, I basically exported the textures as an albedo texture, a normal map, and an RMA channel pack texture. So when I went into the textures, specifically the RMA texture, I had to change that to I think the compression thing was default, and I changed it to no masks, so I could actually use the channel pack texture in a way that would work. Now, this, creating the character, I struggled here. I'm not great at, I've honestly never done this before, to be honest, and I'm not great at character creation, so I wanted this to be simple. This is what I thought simple would be, just cutting 2 little holes in this guy, and one in his face, one in his abdomen. This is the Mixamo character, by the way, that the template comes with. So I thought this should be easy. This should be, a simple thing to do. But no, it wasn't. I was having a lot of issues here, specifically with just the way it looked. When you cut the hole in, it's like all the geometry, the topology is so bad, and you could just see I struggled with it for quite a while. I think it's not uncommon when you're working on a project like this, to kind of come into these bumps in the road where you just get stuck on the most simple thing for so long. But the feeling you get when you fix something or you figure something out, and that's it feels amazing. And not only does it feel good, it's almost like that problem is done. It's behind you now, because you're not going to do the same thing twice most of the time. I mean, honestly, I will definitely do the same thing twice. This error is probably going to happen 2 more times to me, but after that, it'll be behind me. But no, I think you guys who are much smarter than I, you'll make a problem once and then kind of get over it. But that was rambly. So an issue I noticed when I was kind of moving the character in pose mode was that these pieces inside of the character were actually not moving when I moved them. And that's because I had to weight paint. Fun fact, I've never weight painted either, so that's another thing I have to learn in this project. So I kind of looked up a quick tutorial on YouTube and started trying to weight paint, but then the bad topology it came back to me. These 2 horrible cuts that I made, they were the gift that keeps on giving, honestly. Every time I tried to do anything here, the topology just came back, and they're like, Ryan, it's almost like a ghost. You know what you need to do. You need to restart this. You need to remake these cuts, because this isn't going to work. And now look at your model. Now it's messed up. And I wasted, I don't know about wasted, because I learned, but I lost a lot of time on that. So, feeling a little frustrated, I moved on from this part of the project, and I brought this character into Unreal Engine. Side note, don't do that. Just finish that model first, then bring it in Unreal Engine. But I brought the character in, and I set up a IK rig, and I started defining all the bones in this. So I would select, shoulder, forearm, and hand, and then I would kind of define that as right arm. And then I did that for pretty much every appendage, the spine, and then I also made the hips, the root bone, I believe. So once I did that, I have all the bones of this character kind of defined at this point. From here, I actually picked the Unreal Engine 4 character that came with the template. This is the character that had the mocap applied, the actual walking up the stairs animation. I went into that character, redefined their bones, so the bone names of my character and the bone names of the animated character were similar. So that way I can apply the animation to both characters and I should get the same result. The only issue is that their starting point was a little bit different. The Unreal Engine was kind of standing normal while mine was in a T-pose. So I actually changed the default state of the normal character into a T-pose, and then we were good. So I exported the animation, and now my character is moving nice. I kind of lined my character up with the template character, and I was honestly probably too precise in doing this. Like, I was like really zooming in there, but now I have the character working. So here's a little thing I didn't show off. What am I saying here? Jesus. A little thing I did off screen that I didn't show you is I completely forgot to UV unwrap this character. So I had to go back and then UV unwrap the character so that the insides were unwrapped as well, because I brought the character in and I wasn't able to do that because I didn't unwrap them. And if you don't unwrap something, you can't texture it. So if you don't learn anything from this video, or if you only learn one thing, hopefully you learned that, because I definitely did. So here, I was actually playing with some of the default materials in this, in Substance Painter, and I threw one on for kind of like the black texture, blackish brownish texture, because I thought that actually matched pretty closely to what my reference image was, and then I threw on this other texture, which is like kind of this rusted metal kind of, and I edited that texture to be something kind of what I was looking for. And what I was looking for was this kind of like purple, rocky kind of amethyst look that I would expect to see if I were to like blow up an amethyst statue on the inside, if that makes sense. If you don't know what amethyst is, it's a purple rock. Hopefully I'm saying the word amethyst right. So that's kind of what you see me doing here. I'm trying to get every little nook and crevice inside of this character to be textured with this green thing. And honestly, that's all I really have to say. It looks kind of messy, to be honest. I kind of got lazy at the front of the character because you're not even going to see them, if I'm being honest. So I think this worked out, honestly. Basically, I just kind of filled it in. I wasn't using a weight comb or anything like pressurized. So this was just like with a mouse. I was having an issue where some of the outside pieces I would like draw on, and then it would like go through the texture with a character. That might be a UV unwrapping issue, but once I finished kind of drawing out everywhere I want the texture to appear, I started editing the layers that I got from the pre-made textures in Substance Painter, and I started editing them, and then I kind of mostly made them purple and changed like the roughness a little bit and added a bit of emissive, and then I also kind of drew in kind of like a middle area that would be a little bit lighter, because I'm picturing like the deepest part of this like amethyst inside would be kind of lighter, and then as it would go out it would be darker. So exported these with albedo, normal, and an RMA channel pack texture, brought them in, edited the channel pack texture to be no mask compression mode, and then applied it to the character. Oh my god, I'm almost done. We're almost done, baby. We only got a couple minutes left of this video. So now you can see me doing a couple of last minute changes. I'm moving some of the clouds in the horizon to kind of like, spice it up a little so it's not so uniform. So I'm like getting my face so close to the screen, trying to like click on the little dots and move them up. So I take a screenshot of the thing and I bring it into Photoshop and I start editing the image. I add a couple of layer checks. I don't know if that's what they're called, but basically I try to match the saturation, the contrast, and the color to my reference image as best as I can, using these check layers. I might make a video on check layers because I think they're super helpful. That being said, once I did that, it wasn't 100% what I wanted, so I started kind of editing the color based on that, or kind of just based on what I personally like kind of what's in my head, what I'm envisioning when I see my references, and I don't know, just kind of like a gut feeling, honestly. So I apply all the layers that I applied to that image to that clet. And here I was just kind of like adding the final touches. I added the clet that I made into Photoshop using a post-process volume. So I added the post-process volume, went to color grading and added it into the misc section. And that's basically it. Then I brought it into the sequencer and rendered it out. So yeah, honestly, that's all I really have to show you guys. If you guys have any questions about anything, put them in the comments and I'll answer every single one. All right, see you guys.